So guys, your girl was getting hollered at. Hi guys, welcome to my channel once again. Thank you so much for joining me today. I think the last video I did was being a wife after being in a long distance marriage for a year. So I'm gonna link it up here, and if you haven't seen that video, I would like you to watch it and learn something new. Okay, so let's get right into this video. But hold on, if you are not subscribed yet, please click that subscribe button and just show your girl some love. So today the topic I want to talk about, I really don't know the topic yet, but I believe that there's somebody out there that needs to hear what I am about to put out. So it's pretty much an experience I had. 2 days ago I went to a store to pick up a few things, and on getting there was a guy that was following me around, right? And I was like, okay, just kind of ignoring him, but just doing what I needed to do. So then I picked up what I wanted to pick up, and then he goes, oh, you look lovely today. I'm like, thank you. And guys, I'm married, but on a regular, if anybody is trying to talk to me in that way, I'm normally nice. So I said thank you, and then he goes on to say, can I see you again and stuff like that. And I'm like, I'm married. And he's like, oh, okay. And then he goes on to say, I'm married too. So I'm like, okay, so why are you trying to talk to me? And he goes, the marriage is hopeless. And I'm like, what? He goes, yeah, the woman I'm married to is hopeless. So I'm like, wow, okay. Normally, I'm supposed to ignore him, but I started having conversation with him, and we got to talking, and he was telling me how his wife is being really mean to him and being really not caring, treats him really bad and all that. So the first thing you would think is, okay, yeah, you're trying to bad talk your wife so I can feel bad for you and all that. But to be honest, I didn't feel that way, but I just felt like he was being honest. Okay, I don't know why I felt that way, but we kept talking, and being, I guess, the kind of nice person I am, or I like to advise people or encourage people, I started telling him, you know what, you need to pray, pray for your wife, and you need to work on yourself. So by the time she sees the reflection of who you're becoming, she might change her ways. And then after talking for some time, maybe about 10 minutes, I'm like, you know what, give me your phone, let me give you a preacher that you can listen to. First I asked him, I was like, do you go to church? He goes, yeah, I go with her to church. So I'm like, okay. And then I told him to look up this church, Transformation Church, just to slide that in there. And I gave him the link, and for some weird reason, while searching the link, I saw his last search on YouTube, and it was about immigration and stuff like that. So I guess my nosy signal picked, and as we kept talking, I asked him, I was like, where are you from? He told me, and I was like, how long have you been in this country? And mind you now, he's not African at all. So it wasn't like, oh, because I saw my African brother, I want to help. No, that was not the case. But he told me, and I'm like, how long have you been here? He's like, a little over a year. So I'm like, did your wife bring you here? He goes, yeah. And I'm like, oh, okay, interesting. And I'm like, how long did y'all know each other? So we just kind of got to talking, which is really random, and he was like, they were together for a very long time, and he used to come here to visit her, and he finally relocated a little over a year ago. And I'm like, do you think that's why she's behaving the way she's behaving? And he's like, to be honest, I believe so, and I just can't wait to get my papers so I can be out. So that's pretty much the topic I want to talk about today. The notion of a woman bringing a man to this country, I feel like it's different when it's a man that brings a woman, right? It's a little different. We women, we want to be loved, right? We want to know that we are loved, right? And what this guy kept saying was, the girl always says, his wife always says, you don't love me anymore and stuff like that. And for me, I asked him, I said, do you think you changed? Do you think something changed? He's like, to be honest, he doesn't even understand like why she's changing. She's like, she's very self-centered, and stuff like that. So I'm going to talk about this today. This is a very sensitive topic. And of course, it's something that me and my husband have talked about. It's really about when you bring a man into this country, the way you behave to this person can sometimes determine if that love is going to change, and this person goes from I really love my wife to I can't wait to get out, right? So now, of course, you might be thinking like, oh, what if he's bashing his wife? What if he's, talking bad about his wife? What if he initially came into this country to, get his paper and leave, right? For me, I can't say that's the case, and I can't say that's not the case. But what I want to talk about today is more so as a woman, when you bring a man into this country, few things I really just want to highlight, because I feel like that's a very interesting process. It's a very tough process. Mostly if it's maybe you dated this guy for like a year or two before you guys got married and then you started the process. So few things I just want you to keep in mind is when you bring a man from another country, just please remember this man left his family, his friends, his job, his lifestyle, left all those things to come be with you in this country. Also remember, this country is a foreign land for this man. It's a strange land for this man. A normal man wants to take care of his family, wants to take care of his home, wants to provide. So now, when you've brought this man from this country, and in a perfect world, is find a job before you come. But sometimes it doesn't work that way, right? So things that I really want to appeal to a lot of women out there that are marrying men from other countries and bringing them into this country. You need to be really careful, because sometimes this man might really come into this country saying, I love my wife, I want to do everything to please her, to make her happy. If you make it hard for this man to do, he's going to start leaning towards, let me just get my stuff so I can go. Men want peace of mind. Let me apologize in advance if you feel like I'm coming here and bashing women. But one of my friends that's a life coach or a therapist, she did mention that, she's spoken to a lot of women that have been through divorces, and most of these women never, say, you know what, this is what I did wrong. It's always the blame game. This is what he did. He changed. He started behaving a certain way. So I've heard about stories whereby, people warned you, don't bring this person to this country and all that. To be honest, you can know a man that's coming to this country to use you even before he comes, except he's very slick with it. And of course, there are special cases like that. But if you know this man has been honest about a lot of things, or even everything that he's been telling you, and he hasn't done anything to make you feel like, he's trying to come here to use you, try to stay calm, ladies. Like, try to remember, this man left everything to come be with you. You need to take that notion of, he's trying to use me for my papers, out of your head. And also, like, your friends could be telling you stuff like, oh, he's not doing this, oh, he's changing. He's not doing this, oh, he's changing. No. You have to give a benefit of a doubt, because you're the one that decided to be into this marriage. You're the one that decided to carry your two left legs to go and marry this man. Nobody forced you. And you can't even come here and say society made me do it. No. You could have waited however long it would take you to find a man in this country, but you decided to marry somebody from another country. So you need to really remember that this person that you're bringing into this country had their own livelihood, had their own lifestyle, had their own money, had their own jobs, and now they're here starting from scratch because of you. Let that sink. Because a lot of women are walking around angry, bitter, because they feel like, after all I did for this man. Don't get me wrong, the process, the I-130 process of bringing your husband to this country is tough. It's tough, it's expensive. But you cannot dangle that over somebody's head when they're now in this country. Second of all, when you're marrying somebody, you guys are coming together to become one. You have to shut out every voice that's coming from outside. Don't get me wrong, there are people looking and saying, we'll see how this is gonna work. We don't know if this is gonna work. You have to shut all that out. I'm not saying my marriage is perfect, but you don't wanna drive this man crazy because you brought them into this country. The best you can do is work together, be understanding. Like, you need a lot of patience. First of all, you're teaching somebody about a new culture. You're teaching somebody about a new location. They're gonna ask a lot of questions. Don't expect them coming here and knowing. Like, when my husband first came, he didn't want to drive. My husband has been driving for over 15 years. But he didn't want to drive when he first came because he was so nervous, because there was a lot of rules and regulations. I'm not gonna pressure him to start driving because, oh, I don't want to drive. All I had to really do was encourage him, like, you have to take it a step at a time. You practice. So I'm just doing this video to appeal to a lot of women that are going back home to your country to marry and bring your husband to this country. You have to be really mindful. If ever you're thinking that, he's using you, maybe slow down on the process. And also, like, before you decided to marry this man, I'm sure you have tested him in different ways. And don't forget, things that were happening, negative things that were happening before you guys got married, is not gonna suddenly disappear. I don't understand how people think about these things. If he didn't used to, worship the floor you walked on before you got married, don't be expecting it to happen as soon as y'all got married. So, and also, just because you're bringing somebody into this country does not mean you are now their God. They're still their own person. So I hope it reaches somebody out there that's thinking about, is he out to get me? Is he out to use me? There are special cases, don't get me wrong. There are special cases where the guy's really coming here. Like, to be honest, like the Michael and Angela and 90 Day Fiance, like, I feel like that's a whole project. Like, they both agreed. She wants to be on TV, he wants to come to America. So they just trying to work it out. But in a real situation, if you have decided to marry somebody from another country and bring them here, you are not their God. Just be the same person you were. I've heard stories, like, before my husband came, somebody told him a story how a woman in London married a guy in Nigeria. And before the guy came, she would say, babe, where are you? And he'll be like, I'm home. He'll be like, oh, call me on FaceTime. And the guy's like, okay. So he used to do it. So then he finally gets to London and they're living together. She literally clocks him everywhere he goes. He can't go anywhere without telling her. He can't go anywhere without taking permission from her. He can't do anything. Like, she was so controlling that he got so sick of it, because this is a grown man. He got so sick of it. And guess what? He was patient enough to get what he needed to get. And at the end of it all, by the time he had his papers figured out, he left her. But the crazy thing about this story is, when this woman is telling other people this story, she's not going to mention the fact that she was controlling. She's not going to mention the fact that she did not let this man breathe. So I'm just appealing to anybody out there that's bringing their spouse into this country. You need to just understand. There are a lot of men that, and my friend mentioned another thing. She's like, a lot of men are not being heard. We always hear the woman's side. It's like, to be honest, like going back to the story I started with this guy that I saw, he looked defeated. This man was in the military in his country. This man had his own house. He had his own cars. And he came here because he wants to be with his wife. This is me taking his word for real. I'm not saying that, you know, that's exactly what it is, because I only saw this man once in my life. However, to be honest, he looked defeated. We ended up having a whole hour conversation of me just trying to tell him, be patient. Really look for the reason why you married this woman in the first place. Put your marriage in prayer. I really tried to encourage him, but this man looked defeated. He's like, you know, I just really want to get my papers together so I can leave. So I'm just appealing to you guys, like, to be honest, marrying and doing long distance and then bringing your husband here is tough, but you can get through it. It's hard, you know, but, you know, if you just stay patient, the man is gonna get a job. The man is gonna flourish because you believe in the potential in this person to make a better life for both of you. So guess what? You just have to be patient, and your attitude says a lot. And when you're fed up, say it. Babe, I'm getting fed up. Don't say it in a demeaning manner. Say it. Be communicative. Talk to your husband. Talk to your wife. But I'm really appealing to women because I am a woman. And I really honestly believe that that encounter that I had with that man taught me something. Because he said something. He said, you told me that your husband just came to this country. Please, whenever you want to ever treat him bad, just remember me because of how horrible of a situation I'm in. And that spoke volumes. I really just want to leave you guys with that today. I hope you learned something from it. Let me know if you have any questions. I will give advice to the best of my knowledge and my experience. So yeah, if you like this video, please comment, subscribe. Let me know if you want more of these videos. Thank you so much for watching today. I hope you enjoyed this video. Take care and have a wonderful week, guys. Bye.